Hi, everybody. I'm Brennan Elliott. You're listening to Christmas MuVies Spotlight with your hosts, Pam and Dawn.
Hello, and welcome to the special edition of Christmas MuVies Spotlight. I'm your host, Dawn Mack, and I'm here with my friend, colleague, and co-host, Pam. Hi, Pam. How are you?
I'm living, breathing. How you doing?
About the same. Well, today, Pam and I are so excited to bring you our special interview with the incredibly handsome and amazingly talented Brennan Elliott.
Brennan stars in the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries Miracles of Christmas movie, Christmas at Grand Valley, on Friday, December 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central.
We are so excited and honored to bring you our interview with the one and only Brennan Elliott.
Enjoy the show.
We always love to hear about how or when our guest decided to become an actor. Would you mind sharing your story with us?
Sure. How I became an actor, or when I became an actor. Well, it's interesting. I grew up in a household where in a part of a neighborhood in Canada where I didn't feel that it was a really nurturing environment to just be able to express yourself and how you feel and your emotions and who you are and your identity and everything else. And I remember I did a lot of music when I was young. I mean, I played a lot of the accordion and the Irish family, so I did a lot of music and was very prolific at it and did very well. And I loved being on the stage and having fun, but I never thought of it as a serious career. And I remember I was in an improv class once with Keith Johnstone, who wrote the book Improv out of London. And I remember he was doing a workshop, and I think I might have been 9 at the time or 10. And I remember getting on stage, and he asked me how I felt. And I said, "Oh, I'm good, I'm cool, I feel great." And he goes, "I don't believe you." And I kind of found that really interesting. And to make a long story short, he kind of just pecked away at me, and I got to the real point of how I really felt, which was I was afraid, and he was annoying me, and I didn't want to talk about how I really felt, and this was scary and all the rest of it. And he had me do a little exercise in more of an honest and truthful place. And I got a little standing ovation, some clapping, and people really accepted me for me. And that was one of the first times when I was a young kid that being really myself was kind of accepted. And I thought, well, this is interesting. So I felt like acting and drama and the process and the craft and whatever that is on the stage or behind the camera, it wasn't behind the camera at that time, was a place where I felt like I could be my true self and be accepted, obviously behind the guise of the character or what have you. And I felt like that was what got me really passionate about theater and film. I started in theater. And then obviously that turned into learning about the craft, whether it was, Strasberg or Stanislavski or Uta Hagen or whoever, and that was years later. But my first foray into that was to feel, wow, I feel like I'm up here and it's okay to be me. And that was something that really started the ball rolling.
Wow. Just imagine if you didn't start out with music and going on from there, you would have never broke into acting because you would have still been afraid.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, probably. I would have gone through that whole period of my life where you're just trying to find yourself and you'd have I really feel like theater, one of the greatest things that from any artist, whether it's painting or theater or music, you get a chance to express yourself. And I felt like we all have, not that you all have to be artists, but we all want to express ourselves and be accepted for our own vision and belief systems and who we are as people. And I felt like that was the moment that I really went, wow, I really want to explore this further.
Well, did you have a plan A or a plan B? I mean, if you didn't get into acting?
Well, I made a decision when I was about 16 or 17. I was really into a lot of theater. I was doing a lot of stage, community stuff. It wasn't professional or anything. And I wanted to really go to New York and learn, and I wanted to train with all kinds of different kind of methods and studies. And I wanted to really just kind of learn I was really passionate back then with the method and just kind of making things real, like it doesn't look like acting. And that was something I really found how do you do that in front of a camera on stage when it's, it's make-believe. And so that's kind of how it all started. But I made a decision when I was 17. I'll never forget this. My stepdad came downstairs. He's a wonderful man, and he's kind of more of a farming, blue-collar, kind of simple guy who doesn't really get the whole arts. And he came downstairs, and he wanted me to be a hockey player. And I was drafted, and I was kind of in the farming ranks, and was but I was too small to play. But I was a good hockey player. And I said, Dad, I really don't want to play this. I'm want to do something in the arts. And he was like, well, how are you going to make money in doing that? How are you going to go anywhere with that? And I said, I don't know. And he says, well, then do me two things. Whatever you decide to do, give it everything you've got. and I'll be proud of you, whether you're successful or not. And it kind of stuck with me. And I thought, you know what? If I'm going to be an actor, there's no room. I've said this a million times to other actors, whether I'm coaching them or I've had a couple of conferences I've been asked to speak at. There's no room for parole, is what I say. You go after it, and there's just no room for parole. And that's how you either make it or you don't make it. But if you have an out in this business, you'll never really know your full potential, in my opinion. You got to really say, okay, there's just no room for parole. I'm gonna go after it. So
that's very inspirational, very inspiring.
Oh well, thank you. Thank you
and
very much.
That's a great way to look at life too. You know, embrace life in the same way. You know.
Well, there's so many people out there that are either taller or better looking or better talented. And it's the competition is so great in any field, but in acting, everybody wants to be, in this field it's competitive as well. And so all I try to do is focus on whatever opportunities I have and whatever jobs I'm doing and give it everything I have to make it truthful and honest and organic and real so the fans have an hour or 2 hours, whatever if it's a movie or a TV show or whatever, and they're entertained. And if I've done that, I've done my job. And there's been moments where I've had people, whether they're in a hospital bed or whether they're hanging out having a glass of wine with their family or whatever, and they're watching something and they thank me because they feel like for 2 hours they had a great time or they really were touched or whatever. And so when they have that with whatever they're going through, it's my job to give it everything I have. And, if you fall short, at least you're giving it all you got.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, you've definitely done that because you've had quite the acting career, and we love everything that you do.
Thank you so much.
I would love to mention the TV show Unreal because that is one of my favorite shows to watch. It's so funny, yet there are really serious moments. What do you love about doing that series and playing the role of Graham?
Well, when I started, I remember I was doing a show called Cedar Cove, and with Annie McDowell on the Hallmark Channel, which just wrapped its third season. I was driving through Oregon because I wanted to drive from Vancouver to LA back home, and I was driving, and I was in this little dungy hotel in Medford, Oregon. I'll never forget this. I get this phone call from a manager saying, you got to read this script. They had already shot the pilot, but now they're redoing the pilot. So they were really investing a lot of money because they really believed in the content, and so they should at Lifetime. It was brilliant. And I was like, I don't want to read it because you're playing the host. Now, I thought, this is a reality show. I don't want to do that. But I said, if it's no name, I'm not playing it. Anyway, so they gave him a name, and then they said, would you read it? And I guess they'd seen me in something and thought, you'd be perfect for this. Anyway, I read it, and I don't even think I had more than a line or two in the thing. And so I passed a few times, and a couple of weeks went by. And anyway, one of the producers called my manager and said, we really want him to do this. And I think it was shooting in like 3 days. And, through conversations and them telling me their vision for where this character was going, I said, okay, fine. And I was only supposed to do 3 episodes, and it ended up turning into 4 years. But what I remember most about it was you have to find the truth in the unreality. The hard part about Graham is it's the part of the unreal. It's the part of the fantasy. It's a part of the fakeness of the thing that makes people just get so entertained, but at the same time, is it truthful? Is it honest? And they're irritated by it. It's very, very dark. I think he's the darkest character in the whole show, to be honest. I think he's the most messed up one.
Yeah.
You don't get into it, but and he was really one of the real elements of comedy, and I really kind of embraced that, within that. And the girls are brilliant. Everybody's brilliant on that show, and to be kind of the comedy, especially maybe more so in the 4th season, where you really get a chance to see some of the characters he gets to play. And I had a great time. I had a lot of fun. It's a character that I never ever thought after the first few episodes people would even resonate. And I've been stopped at airports. I've had people call me. I've had people send me mail that just really, want more Grahamisms or really love that character. And it's a testament to the writing. It's a testament to the show. And they really just gave me free rein to create something that to me is probably the darkest role I've ever played in my life.
Well, throughout your career, of the many experiences you have had, what is something that stands out for you as a career highlight?
You mean as an actor on set, or is something that happened based on does it matter? Does it anything?
Does not matter. Whatever you consider a career highlight.
Well, I got a direct message on I think it was either Instagram or Twitter. I can't remember what it was, but I had a lady that was stage 4 cancer, and she was in the hospital. She was in her late 70s, early 80s, and she was obviously going through the throes of chemo and the throes of what that disease can do and ravage your body. And she had asked her husband to tape, and I guess on the computer tape all of 3 or 4, I can't remember which exact movies they were, but 3 or 4 movies that I'd been in, and bring them to the hospital. And she had watched them, and she said that it made her feel better during chemo. And to me, I know it might seem kind of simple, but I literally, I couldn't even keep my eyes from being dry. That's one of the things that when you touch somebody on some level, whether it's like they're having fun or they're enjoying or they're laughing or they're touched or they're just escaping some sort of pain, that's a highlight. I mean, that's the award there, and it really, really affected me. And so I actually wrote a card to her and sent it off. And, those are the moments that I kind of remember, like when you work your bag off and you're trying to make a character real. And I'm struggling right now. I'm working on a Christmas movie, and I'm just kind of working through it and reading it and trying to find choices and yada, yada, yada. And you realize when you put that extra work in, it's for moments like that,
Oh, yeah. That is definitely, that's a life highlight, not just a career highlight, but a life highlight. Yeah. When you know that what you're doing and contributing based on what you love to do is making an impact and a difference in someone's life in that way, that's when you know you were doing exactly what you were meant to do, And I believe honestly, I believe that the fans, and not fans, but all people that are out there that are watching TV or film, whether it's network, whether it's cable, what doesn't matter, they're very, very educated and very smart. And, if they like something, they like something. If they don't, they don't. And I feel like when they actually appreciate what you do, whether it's Graham or whether it's a Hallmark show or whether it's something on Netflix or whether it's a movie I've done or whatever, you know that the hard work you put in, that's the reward, not all the rest of it. And so that specifically just came, when you said what was a highlight, that just happened like 4 or 5 months ago, and I was really moved by it. But I've had so many highlights just on set or with characters, and obviously Hallmark and I's relationship is one that I cherish, and it's been wonderful. Obviously playing Graham I got to go to work and have fun every day, and make people laugh. I mean, I literally would do scenes and we'd have to stop because the crew was laughing. So you really have a great time doing that. So very, very blessed, and I've had many really highlights. Oh, many, many highlights. Well, of all the characters that you have portrayed, which one most closely resembles the real Brennan Elliott? Oh, man. See, I have a hard time answering that, Pam. Is this Pam I'm talking to? Did she ask that question? No, this is Dawn. Oh, Dawn. Oh, geez, Dawn. You guys drive a hard bargain. I've been asked that for 20 years, and I literally, because every character is me on some level. You know what I mean? Like every single one. I don't. It's hard to say. I think I'd have to say this third movie of All in My Heart, it's probably because it's recent, but even the Christmas movie, there's elements in it. Obviously you're connected to whatever role you play and whatever experience you're going through life. So every part is a little bit of me, or a lot of me in everything. But I think this third All in My Heart movie was really interesting because it kind of paralleled the fights you love someone, and you, as a team, you want to fight to keep your home going, and you want to take care of your children, you want to take care of your home. And so there's been some stuff personally that I've been utilizing and working through that kind of paralleled that. And I felt like you were just being yourself. But that's a really hard answer because I think an actor's job is to make every role a part of you and you a part of it. And so I really have never had just, this is Brennan. I mean, there's like Graham is a perfect example of a role that I would never have been cast in years ago, and it was not something I thought I'd even play. But as I got into it, I realized I'd use whatever's a part of me to make that person three-dimensional. And as scary as that is, to realize you have some of those things to make that guy alive. I'd have to, I mean, it's interesting, but I can't really. I'd have to think about that, and I've been asked that so much, and I have the same answer. They're all a part of me and a piece of me, but I don't think I've had one that I can go, that's the closest to me, period. Not yet. But.
Well, you've played in quite a few different genres of, drama, comedy, sci-fi, action, and so forth. Do you have a preference, or do you enjoy the versatility?
I enjoy the versatility. I mean, it's very nice to be appreciated as an actor that can play a myriad of things, or can play anything, or what have you, and that's always exciting. I mean, I didn't do a lot of comedy. Maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was tough to get me into the comedy realm because maybe people didn't believe I was doing a lot of comedy. And I think as I've gotten older and just trusted my instincts more and not taken the business so hard, my comedy's I've allowed my comedy to come through. Comedy's hard to play. It's very, very difficult to play comedy and play it honestly and to come from the moment. Anybody can play shtick and do all that, but to be really honest with it and to come from a really heartfelt, honest, in-the-moment place, you got to really trust that whatever instinct comes up comedically or witty is enough. And so Hallmark has allowed me to really show a little of my comedy, and then obviously Lifetime as well. So I've had a lot of fun with that. But I don't really stick to one thing. To me, it's everything is as long as everything comes from a real and honest place, I'm fine doing both. I did a lot of painful drama years and years and years ago, and those are always something you just go, oh no, that scene,
Yeah.
But I just accept it all.
Well, that way I think it doesn't corner you into a certain type of character either, and you do get to do so many different things. So that's good.
Well, it was interesting. I had this producer on a movie I just finished. I just did a crossword mysteries with Lacey Chabert. It's one of these Mystery Wheel series on the Mystery Channel on Hallmark, and we had a lot of fun. And he said to me, he goes, I want to cast you in all my stuff because you're like the Tom Hardy of Hallmark. And I just went, what? And I kind of thought, first of all, I would never put those two together in some context. But I guess what he was trying to say, and he never really said this, but the way I got it is like, on Hallmark you have so many different leading men and leading women and everything else, and maybe one of my little secrets in my pocket is that I can kind of be able to be called upon to play anything, and to me that's an honor. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm not Tom Hardy. I don't have as many tattoos, so.
Well, you've worked with many of our favorite actresses. Is there anyone you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to either work with in a movie or a TV series?
Gosh, there's so many that I, not only on Hallmark, but I mean, I was a huge fan of Constance years and years ago. I mean, I watched her in Entourage, and so being able to have, time to share the screen with her was an honor. But I mean, look, I've been blessed with Lacey, and I've played with so many different leading ladies, and I've been really lucky to be able to do that. I mean, on Hallmark they have, Candace Cameron Bure and Lori Loughlin. I haven't played either with either of them, but they have so many that are really great. And as an actor, I'd love to. Obviously, you want to work. I'd love to. The one person I'd want to work with would be Meryl Streep if I could. That would be a highlight because I just think she's a genius. But that's those are goals I'll leave up to the universe. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have I got to work with that person. That's a question I'll have to think about because I know that when and the funny thing is, I'll get one and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I wanted to work with her. So I probably and even I'm doing a Christmas movie now, and with Danica, and I haven't worked with her and heard great things, and so I'm excited about that. So I really kind of been an equal opportunist, but at the same time, I do have some. I have to think about that because there's so many out there that I'd love to have an opportunity to share the screen with and play.
Definitely.
Yeah, and most definitely. And speaking of Hallmark and the All of My Heart series, in September, the third installment aired to the delight of fans everywhere. And major kudos going out to you and Lacey Chabert for your outstanding performances throughout the series. And why do you think the All of My Heart series has been so wildly popular?
Lacey and I talked about this in the plane. And, she might not remember this, but we were just wondering why. And the first time we did it, I'd never worked with her, and I kind of was offered the movie last minute and went in there. Kind of just a big fan of Lacey's, obviously, from Mean Girls and Party of Five and a lot of the stuff she's done. And I was just like, this will be great. And I had no idea of what it would do. And it was such a great experience. The movie turned out to be so wonderful, and we were very proud of it. But I didn't know I don't really know what it was. But the only thing that we can come to is, Lacey and I really are trying to show the heart of what true love is. And that's what the story is about. It's all about when you're in love with someone or love someone, you take the good and the bad and you fight together as a team. And And it's not easy, but we try to make it as honest and organic and real as possible. And I think the fans, whether they're married or not married or divorced or going through whatever, have children or, all those different dynamics in those relationships, I think it strikes a chord because it's real. And I think that's the greatest honor, is that we've created a movie that's honest, real, not only with the acting, but the story. And that's I think, what's striking the chord,
Oh, yeah. Well, do you have a special behind-the-scenes story from the movie that you could share? And by the way, the goats have been quite the scene stealers throughout all these movies, and everybody has just come to love the goats too.
Yeah, I keep putting in my contract, I don't want the goats anymore in the movie because they steal the movie. So either get rid of them, And Lacey loves the goats. So it's like every time she gets goats around, we lose her for about 4 hours, and then we have to get her back on screen, and we're behind in our day. And I'm just kidding. But no, she loves the goats. There's a scene that we did in the first movie that that was the moment I went, okay. There was actually 2 scenes, but I'll tell you both of them. I went, this has potential to be either a TV series or a series of movies or a holiday movie every year or whatever. And the first scene is the paint scene in the first movie, which I felt we shot in one take, and it just had the perfect element of chemistry and fun and romance, and it was brewing. And then the one scene with the table that I was sawing off the legs, and it was wiggly and it was wobbly and everything else. Mm-hmm. We're trying to eat and talk about everything. And I just felt like, this chemistry, you work with leading ladies and you work even with other people, in male, female. You can't make chemistry just happen. It just has to happen. And you can be the most brilliant actor or actress in the world, and you can still have chemistry with anybody, but the depth of chemistry that looks like you two are like been together for years and years and years, whether it's Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn or Humphrey Bogart and Maura Bacall, whatever, these kinds of chemistries are not – it doesn't matter how good of an actor you are. It's innate, and we had that, and we're just embracing it. It's a blessing, and I think that chemistry in those 2 scenes dictated what I felt could be something that could be long term. And even with Crossword Mysteries, we just finished the first installment, the first movie, where they want to do 20 movies over 5 years, and we're all on board to do that because we have a lot of fun together. We're playing completely different roles, and I'm playing this kind of hard-nosed detective who's very serious, and she's playing this crossword editor, and it's just very different for both of us. But the chemistry's still there, and that's what's great. And from what I can tell, that's going to be an awesome series. Hopefully, it will be around forever. I mean, I think. And you hit the nail on the head, and that is the chemistry that you and Lacey, exude on screen. It's so believable, and people love it. I mean, I've seen so many, things out there on social media, tweets to you and to her about, you guys are the real deal. You're our favorite Hallmark couple, and and so it's just amazing what you've been able to bring to those movies, and I think that has just enhanced the movies all across the way. So we're all excited about the Crossword Mystery. That's going to be awesome, and to see you guys in different roles apart from what we've been seeing you in. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, we're very excited about it. Very excited about it, and hopefully the fans, obviously can just see it for what it is, as opposed to always seeing us as all in my heart, but also because maybe we'll do a movie here. Maybe who knows what the future is for All in the Heart. Maybe it'll be a series someday. I don't know, and we're willing to do that. But seeing us playing different roles, I think as long as they're like, well, that's Lacey and Brennan, so we're okay with it, and they suspend their disbelief and not get attached to Brian and Jenny, because these guys are very different. These two we're playing, and the first movie is not. We're kind of at odds with each other, and it's kind of a moonlighting meets heart-to-heart type thing, but the romance does happen. I'm not going to give it away, but as the movies go on, there is a romance and a mystery, and so they're a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun playing them. And I think like Lacey and I are very, very, very close friends, and that's become because we work together, and I'm very good. I have a lot of affection for her husband. He's a wonderful guy, and we want to get dinners together with the family and love our kid, and so it's that, because that stuff comes across on film, and it's a real blessing. And she's wonderful.
That's amazing.
We couldn't agree more. We love you both, and anything that Hallmark and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries puts out there, it's just golden. It just doesn't seem like there's any failures. See, I can't even say the word because there aren't any.
Well, you know what it is? They have they really listen to their fans. They have a real pulse on what the fans want. And I know this cliche, I say it all the time, they're the heart of TV. And a lot of people, really resonate to that. I was just at a store today, and I was dealing with just getting something for the kids, and this guy was like, recognized me, and he's like, my wife and I, and not just women, men, we watch that show all the time, and it's not just Christmas movies. They watch both, and you really don't realize how much of a tap into the pulse they have, and so it's an honor. I mean, I've worked with every network known to man, and I've been lucky enough to work in different genres, different characters, like you said, but Hallmark's been wonderful to me and the family, and whenever they call, I'm very, very obviously very grateful and put them in high esteem.
Yeah. Well, switching gears a little bit, I saw on your IMDb that you're producing. Is this something you always wanted to do, or are you trying it out, or what was the experience like?
No, it's something that I would like to do more of. I just did back-to-back movies as an executive producer and as a star of the movie, and it's a lot of work. But I found myself wanting to, having instincts or impulses and wanting to be involved, whether it's with the material, the script, or whether it's with the crew, or whether it's kind of the story, or whether it's ideas in the scene that I wanted to say. And please. So I found myself doing all that work just as an actor, and I felt like, and I had a very good close friend of mine who was a big producer and worked for a lot of the networks. Said, you're pretty much, that's what a producer does. And maybe when you get a chance, and if a network or a studio gives you an opportunity to trust you enough to be a part of that process, stick your neck out and try it. And so Hallmark's been very, very receptive, and all of my heart, the third movie was my first foray into that. And I feel like, Lacey and I both executive produced with Beth Grossbeard, who's a very, very good producer, a good friend, and we learned a lot from her. And we fought for the music, and we talked about, the color scheme and how we want to have a little autumn sheen, and the scenes and dialogue that doesn't work, and casting and dealing with crew and all kinds of different things, and more from a creative standpoint. But you felt more a part of the project from beginning to end, and it makes it more rewarding that when you're watching something, you're not just, you're a part of it all. Your handprint's kind of on everything. And, look, in the end, the network has the final say. It's their movie, and so they should. But to be a part of something and to kind of give your ideas, you just feel collaborative, and it's something that I'm really enjoying and would love to do more of it in the future. I'm not doing that in the Christmas movie. I'm just obviously acting in opposite Danica, but she's executive producing it, and so she should. So, she's my boss. But I just kind of, I want to be a part of the creative process by being involved in all elements of it. I've pitched some ideas to certain networks, and I have some ideas, some things that they're excited about doing at different networks, and that whether you're starring it or not, but just creatively being involved in everything is something that I'm at this age kind of exploring. I'm still going to be first and foremost an actor, but I do have some input based on my experience that I think I would like to see on the screen. Sometimes I've done stuff where I've seen it just as an actor, and I'm like, oh, if I just would have spoke up, maybe we would have done it that way.
Well, that's very interesting. It kind of adds another element and layer to you as a artist, entertainer, actor, you name it, and you can now add producer to that whole forte of resume that you have, and that is that's awesome. We'd love to see more of that too from you. And before we wrap up the interview, we would be remiss if we didn't talk to you about this outstanding movie that we are so excited about, which we get to see you star in the upcoming Hallmark Countdown to Christmas movie, Christmas at Grand Valley, where you play the role of Sam, and I think it's premiering November 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. What can you share with us about this movie without giving too much away?
Well, I'm just, obviously we're about a couple weeks away from filming, and we're just kind of, getting into the script and the story. But I will tell you this: what I liked about it, it's obviously we have a single father whose wife has passed away, and he's raising his children, and has to continue obviously providing and working. And it's a real story about what kind of life do you want to live that's going to satisfy you the most, and what's important in life. And I think that when he goes to Grand Valley, not to give too much away, it's a way of life that makes the heart heal, makes the family grow closer, makes people feel love for not just romantic love, but love for the holiday, love for the family, love for themselves. And I think it's a rebirth and a rejuvenation, and I think all of that under the spell of Christmas, which Christmas is obviously very healing. And so there's really a lot of subtextual undertones in the movie and in the script that I think are beautiful, and it's all under this, which is really the main character, which is Christmas. And so I'm excited to explore that and play with that. And Danica's character is amazing, and I'm lucky enough to have a role that I think has a lot of elements that share with the story with her. And so we're really excited about it. I think the fans will really, really have a fun, romantic, heartfelt ride. And, it's a Christmas movie that always, pulls on the heartstrings. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and I am so excited about seeing you and Danica star in this movie. As you said, this is your first time, you guys starring together in a movie, so it's just going to be exciting, and the plot sounds just wonderful. And of course, I don't think Hallmark puts out a bad Christmas movie. I mean, they're all so good. And the heart of Christmas, the heart of television, everything about them is just central to the heart. And so this is going to be a great one. We are certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And Danica, I've heard such great things. And we've had opportunities in the past to maybe work together, and it just hasn't transpired. So we're really, really excited to get a chance to most importantly, just bring a nice Christmas movie to the fans during the holiday season. And that's what it's about. And you're right. I mean, they're doing 36 this year, and they keep growing and expanding. And this network is just really touching all of, it's becoming worldwide. And so just to be a part of it is really humbling, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Well, I know Dawn and I are going to be very busy watching every single one of them. So.
Yeah, you're gonna be Christmased out.
Well, I have one last question for you, and that is, describe Hallmark in 3 words.
It's the heart of TV. I mean, that's I've said it before. It's the heart of TV, and I know it's cliche in some, but that heart. I mean, they really try to deliver content that is heartfelt and really taps into and connects with people's heart as an audience. And I think it's an art form that they've mastered, and people want to replicate, and they won't. So they should be very proud.
Well, we always like to end our show or our interview with this fun 5-question lightning round, and it's all Christmas related. But you just answer with a quick answer. We won't throw anything at you that that would be kind of out of left field. So, what is your favorite Christmas tradition?
My favorite Christmas tradition would probably be, I really just loved waking up in the morning and there'd be stockings. I don't know what it was about stockings. It just made me feel like Santa had come, or something had come that wasn't my parents, or I don't know. I love seeing these stockings, whether they're filled with a present or two, or an orange, or or coal, whatever. I'm kidding, but I just loved the idea of seeing stockings, and that's a big one for us when we were kids.
Favorite Christmas song?
Little Drummer Boy.
Favorite Christmas movie? Does not have to be Hallmark necessarily. It could be in general.
Probably Miracle on 34th Street was probably one of them. That's probably the top.
That's a great one.
That's
hot toddy.
Top.
Yeah, hot toddy or hot chocolate.
Hot toddy.
And lastly, white lights or colored lights.
Oh, colored. Colored lights for sure.
And there are no wrong answers. Yeah, well, there are no wrong answers in this. We always like to ask this because it's just a lot of fun, and thank you so much for that. And so we are just so excited to be able to have had this time with you, Brennan, to chat with you about your career and about all the exciting things going on with you and all the upcoming stuff on Hallmark. And we look forward to every bit of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think the season this year on Hallmark in particular is going to be one of the best seasons they've had yet. It'll be the biggest season for sure. So undoubtedly be big time for everybody, fans, actors, the network alike. So, but again, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, it's a lot of fun, ladies. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, don't leave us yet. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Christmas Movies. That's XMASMUVIES. And also like our Facebook page at Christmas MuVies Spotlight. Don't forget that's spelled MUVIES. And follow us on Instagram at Christmas MuVies Spotlight.
And don't forget to check out our website, ChristmasMoviesSpotlight.com. That's movies with MUVIES. ChristmasMoviesSpotlight.com.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.